Hello everybody and welcome back to the latest video. In this video, I'd like to talk about 5 things that we need in Unturned 4.0. Now before we get right started, I'd like to mention that this list is in no particular order, and these are all things that could be easily implemented into Unturned 3.0, but the reason I'm including them in this list is that Nelson has kinda slowed down on development for Unturned 3.0 and has now started working on 4.0, so I don't think he'll be making any major additions to 3.0 itself, and with that said, he will be mainly focusing on Unturned 4.0. So let's get right started. For number 1, this is something that I think every single Unturned player has had an issue with, and this is vehicle physics. So, something we need in Unturned 4.0? Yes, definitely better vehicle physics. Now, there are a lot of points under this certain category, but I can simply start off by saying that we need a better feeling while driving. Driving in 3.0 feels really clunky, and it simply feels like you're floating in midair instead of driving an actual car. In addition to this, I think all of us are kinda tired of our vehicles getting stuck in random places. Let me tell you guys, it's been countless times that I've been driving an APC right into the mountains going on a casual Saturday ride, and I just get stuck in some random crack, which I can't even see. So I think there should be a clear distinction with objects that your vehicle would get stuck in and, you know, just an average terrain which you could easily get over with a vehicle that actually has 6 wheels. Now, something that I would like to add to the overall vehicle experience is drifting and drifting physics. I think this would be really cool, and not only is drifting fun in video games and real life, but it could also have some pretty cool uses like drifting into a huge pile of zombies and, you know, just completely demolishing them. And that would definitely be really fun. I was also thinking that Jeeps should be able to perform better on a mountain than a sedan. Now this is obviously a really obvious thing, obviously, but it's not something that we can see in Unturned. If also we wanted to complicate things a little more, now that we can add and remove tires from a vehicle like we can in real life, it would be pretty opportunistic to be able to change our tires in order to adapt to the terrain. For example, if we're driving a sedan on a snowy mountain, it's going to be really slow and get stuck easily, but if we add some all-terrain vehicle tires or some snow tires, it would be able to perform slightly better, even though it is not a Jeep. And if we do change our tires on a Jeep, then it would go even faster on, for example, snow or off-road terrain. Obviously, this is a lot more work for Nelson with vehicle physics and all that stuff, but it would definitely be something cool that I would love to see in the game. For number 2 on our list, I'd like to introduce the idea of moving platforms or elevators. Now, my idea was to create a craftable elevator that can be upgraded to 5 different levels. So the first one can only go up and down 1 block, or, you know, about the height of a pillar, since it would be the height of the roof of your base. It can only go up and down 1, but then you can upgrade it to 5 or more different levels, or how many levels Nelson decides to make it. And you can do that by maybe, I don't know, a blowtorch and some bars, and that would be able to make your elevator go higher. Now, something cool that I'd like to add to this is that maybe the elevator or the moving platform could be connected to other platforms or other elevators by some sort of button. So you'd have some sort of tool like a detonator which selects multiple charges, but for, you know, these moving platforms, and it would have a similar function to redstone in Minecraft. So what this would do is you could put, I don't know, 4 moving platforms together, or elevators, land a helicopter on it, and make your helicopter sink into your base and have more platforms close over it. So it would look like a really cool automated garage. And I think this would be a really cool addition, because Unturned definitely has the technology to be able to make these sort of things. I mean, there are large generators, there are oxygenators, there are sentries, and so definitely small moving platforms is definitely in the engineering capability of the average Unturned survivor, in my opinion. For number 3 on our list, we have digging. And I know this might sound a little bit controversial when it comes to Unturned, but hear me out. Not only would this add a really cool use for elevators, but it would also allow players to diversify their building style, have underground bases or basements, and all of that stuff. Now, the reason I say this is controversial is because you might think that it might not look good in Unturned style, and also because of the bunkers and Hawaii secret Easter eggs with the lava and all that stuff, and so there's not a lot of places where you can go underground in Unturned. Also, if you guys have seen under the map, it is completely full of water, so also the water system might have to be reworked. So it is definitely something to consider. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to go around the map and seeing a bunch of square holes, but what I would like is to see players being able to use the terrain around them more efficiently. So the way I would do this maybe is that you can only dig if you're going to build. So let's say when you're placing down a foundation or a floor, you could lower it more into the ground, and then if you have a shovel, there's a short animation of you digging down into the ground, and then you can place your foundation over there. This is just an idea. Obviously it needs a lot of work in my opinion, but it would definitely be cool seeing something like this inside of the game if it's done well. For number 4, we have something that I definitely miss from Unturned 2.0, and this is an easier way to host servers. Although it's not too complicated right now, being able to host your own server or invite your friend to your single player world with a few clicks from inside of the game would definitely be really cool. For me, it's obviously not hard to host my own server, I've done it hundreds of times, but I'm just saying it would be a lot more practical if I needed some help fighting a horde of zombies in my single player world, and I can just invite my friend just like that without having to go through the hassle of scrambling through the game files and creating a server hosted on my computer. This is not something that would be essential to the game, but I think this is something that would definitely be appreciated by most of the player base. The final item on my list, number 5 of 5 things that we need in Unturned 4.0, in my opinion, would be a complete story for Unturned. Now, this is a very open-ended suggestion, and I don't want you guys to take this too seriously, but I definitely want you guys to reflect on it. Unturned being a very fun game in multiplayer, I can't really say the same thing for single player. Single player, although it has those elements of survival that we all look for, it kind of lacks the element of story. Yes, there are notes spread around the map saying how it all happened, but I would like something a little more interactive. Now, it doesn't have to be NPCs, it doesn't have to be a more concrete story, but it has to be something which feels a lot more immersive and which wants to make me know what happened. Why am I this guy? Why am I here? Why did the apocalypse happen? You know, all of that stuff. And I think it could be pulled off very well. Something short, concise, and with an ending, with a boss fight or whatever, which would be really cool. And all of that is already there. All of the Unturned game lore is already there. It's just hidden around in a bunch of notes. And I think that if this would be designed in a more, how do I say this, immersive friendly way, I think the game would be a lot more interesting in single player. Even if it's just a 2 to 3 hour story, it would definitely be something fun that I would add. This also opens up many opportunities for hostile or friendly NPCs running around the map that you can interact with. For example, a group of bandits trying to rob you, or a friendly trader NPC going around the map that you can buy stuff from, and he's just kind of going around doing his thing, and only in single player, so this would, you know, give me a reason to play single player a lot more. And I know this is quite a long stretch, but voice acted NPCs. I think voice-acted NPCs would be pretty cool. Obviously, there won't be unlimited NPCs, there would be about 10 to 15 different characters to the max, but I think having them voice-acted would definitely be very cool. Obviously, it's a little investment for Nelson, and it's gonna put a little bit more time, take a little bit more time, but I think it would definitely be cool. And you know, when you're a game developer, you have a bunch of contacts, and it's not going to be hard for him to find people to do the voice acting. And I think that if it's done right, it would definitely be very cool. Because reading dialogue is kind of an old Skyrim Morrowind thing. And I think we're in 2017, nearly 2018, and we all have the technology available to do some voice acting. Again, this is a very long stretch, but this is just something that I personally would like to see in the game. Well guys, that was it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I also did some asking around in the community on what they thought about what we need in Unturned 4.0, and I think we could all agree that Unturned definitely needs to be better optimized so we can run at higher than 30 FPS on our GTX Titan i7 computer gaming rig. So with that said, I hope you all have a great day, and see you guys in the next video. Peace!
How many layers of
Unturned
are you on? Like maybe 5 or 6 right now, my dude. You are like a baby. Watch this.
Boo.